Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm doing my Week 12 NFL Power Rankings. This is a series I do every single week on the channel, and it's one of my most productive series on the channel. It seems to get a lot of support, and a lot of people seem to like it, so I'm back again with Week 12 Power Rankings. I decided to change up the format a little bit this week. I usually have just 4 tiers with a lot of teams in each tier. It's very confusing on where the tier lines are, and I think that the tier names that I've had for the entire season haven't been very attributable to the qualities of each of the teams. So I changed it up this week a little bit. I made more tiers so that each tier could have a name that actually fit the teams in it very well. So I like the new format. Hope you guys do too. I know I got a lot of comments about the names of the tiers, so I wanted to make sure that the names were appropriate for each of the tiers. Another thing, only 9% of you are subscribed. So if you guys enjoy my content, you watch my videos, and you like this video, you should subscribe. Because it really helps the channel, it helps it grow, and it helps me bring more content to you guys on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Only 9% of you are subscribed, so make sure to do that. Let's get right into the video. So to start off today's video, we have the new and improved Dumpster Fire. The Dumpster Fire used to include a lot more teams and it was kind of inaccurate, but now we just have the 3, the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Bengals. These are by far the 3 worst teams in the league. It's not even close. None of them have very strong offenses except the Bengals is okay, and they all have absolutely terrible defenses. There's not really much else to be said here. Tier number 2, we have the NFC East. This is not supposed to be funny. This is supposed to be completely serious. I don't know which one of these teams is the best. The Cowboys just won a game against the Vikings today, who I thought the Vikings were on the up and on the rise. But Washington beat the Cowboys ever since Dak Prescott left. The Eagles have beaten both of them, and they split with the Giants. And the Giants beat the Washington football team twice. So I really have no idea where to put any of these teams. I feel like they're all very even. And I think that because the Giants split with the Eagles and beat the football team twice, they have the advantage right now in the power rankings in the division. But this division is very locked up. It's very tight. And any one of these teams could win it. But I don't think any of them are any more impressive than any of the other teams in the league. Continuing on, we have the trash defenses. These are the teams that have pretty solid offenses, and they would be good if their defenses were better. So at number 25, we have the Atlanta Falcons. At number 24, we have the Lions. And at number 23, we have the Denver Broncos. The Falcons have had a pretty bad season this year. Matt Ryan can usually win between 6 and 10 games, even with the worst defenses that the NFL has seen in the past 15 years. I think that he actually, the Falcons are the worst team defense in the past 10 years. All with that, every year with Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan still manages to win a majority of his games. So this season is a little bit of a downset for them, but their defense, if they can get an improved defense next season, then they should be back in it. The Lions right now are a pretty solid team. They had a tough loss against the Panthers today. They're very up and down, and right now they're on the downswing. And the Broncos had a very impressive win today over the Dolphins, the 6-4 Dolphins. The Broncos are very up and down as well. They beat the Dolphins, they beat the Patriots. They've won a couple of good games, but they have lost a couple of bad games as well. So the Broncos I have at 23. At number 22, we have the Chargers. The Chargers, this next tier is future potential. The Chargers right now have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, but Justin Herbert is putting up not MVP stats, but he's putting up very good stats. He's putting up Pro Bowl statistics right now, and his team just isn't helping him out. They're not giving him anything. Their running game isn't amazing, and their defense is absolutely terrible. There's just not much to be said there. The Chargers won a game today, but they're struggling to get wins where they can. They demolished the Jets. Well, they didn't demolish the Jets, but they were demolishing them until their defense gave away the game and they were able to clutch it. But it was still a close win against a really bad team. At number 21, we have the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have been up and down just like the Lions, but they're on the uptick right now after winning in a blowout against them. The Panthers, there's not really much to be said. Teddy Bridgewater is a pretty solid quarterback, but they've been missing Christian McCaffrey the entire season, and he's a key part of their offense. They have a future potential next year because Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback, but with Christian McCaffrey gone, there's half of your offense, and their defense isn't anything to brag about. At number 20 and number 19, we have the Texans and the Patriots. Now, a lot of people might say, why do you have the Patriots above the Texans? They just lost to them. I think if the Patriots and Texans played 10 games, the Patriots would win 6 or 7 out of 10. I think that this was a bad game for us, and I think that the Patriots do have a better overall team than the Texans. We have a better defense, and our offense can be good when it needs to be. But this was a bad game for us, and we are at number 19. At number 18, we have the San Francisco 49ers, and this is the most inconsistent team in the league. They've beaten some very, very incredible teams, and they've lost to some very, very bad teams. And they just really, there's not really anywhere else to put them except for number 18, right below the midpoint of the league, not really in playoff contention. They're a solid team, and they have potential for next season if Jimmy is healthy. And George Kittle. Our next tier is the borderline playoff tier. We have the Bears, the Browns, the Vikings, and the Dolphins. The Bears are at number 17. They started off the season 4-0. Nobody believed that they were actually a real team, and they've gone 1-5 since then. The Bears keep getting worse and worse as they play tougher and tougher teams, and they really haven't proved anything to me right now. They beat a bunch of easy teams, and now that they're playing harder teams, they're starting to lose all of their games. There's not really much to be said there. Their defense is very strong, but their offense doesn't really know how to play. And they're a decent team, but I don't see them making the playoffs at this point. At number 16, we have the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are 6-4, and yes, I have them below the 4-6 Vikings. The Browns are coming off of a bye week this week, but the previous week they beat the Houston Texans 10-7. At that point, the Texans were 2-6, and the Browns were 6-3 or 5-3, and that was not a game that they should be winning by 3 points. I know there was acclimate weather, but it was a tough game for them. And the Browns have had a couple of tough games, not even scoring over one score against Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Las Vegas. So I think the Browns need to show me that their offense can be consistent before I can put them into a playoff category. At number 15, we have the Vikings. And as I put out in a video a couple days ago, Dalvin Cook has been a menace for them. I think that if the Vikings make the playoffs, Dalvin Cook will be a strong MVP contender. Now, currently they're 4-6 and unlikely to make the playoffs, but I have to put them above the Browns because they're on the up and up. And I think that the Vikings have a stronger team than the Browns. They have a decent defense, and their defense plays better the better Dalvin Cook does. I know that they just lost to the Cowboys, and I have the Cowboys at number 29. But I still think that the Vikings have a strong team. They're improving. They just beat the Bears. They beat the Packers. And with Dalvin Cook rushing 20 times a game, every time that Dalvin Cook rushes the ball 20 times, this is their first loss, and it was to the Cowboys. And it was right when Andy Dalton was coming back trying to prove himself. So I think that the Vikings have a strong team, and they have a very good chance of... not a good chance, but they have a chance of making the playoffs this year. At number 14, we have the Dolphins. The Dolphins just took a hard loss to the Broncos, and they are now 6-4. They are the only. They're tied. They're down here with the Browns, also at 6-4. They've won some impressive games. They've lost some non-impressive games, and I'm not really sure where they're at right now. So I have them at number 14. Now we move on to Wildcard Weekend number 2. This includes teams that are likely not going to win the division, but some of these might. We have the Rams, the Raiders, the Bills, the Cardinals, and the Ravens. The Rams are currently at number 13. They're a strong team, but they've had some up and down games. I'm making this expecting them to lose tomorrow night to the Buccaneers. So, yes, I know that I haven't seen the game yet, but I don't think that the Rams are going to beat the Buccaneers. They're a pretty solid team. They have a good offense and a good defense, but they haven't been incredibly consistent this season. And at 6-3, potentially 6-4, I think that 13 is a very good spot for them. And number 12 is the Raiders, and I know that the Raiders lost to the Chiefs tonight, but bringing them down to 6-4 as well. But with all these other teams, I think that the Raiders are doing very well. They've had a very hard schedule. They split with the Chiefs. They beat the Saints. And their only other losses are, besides the Chiefs' loss, are to the Patriots, the Bills, and another very good team. I know the Patriots aren't a very good team, but the Patriots beat them back before COVID hit. So it was a pretty good run for the Raiders so far this season. They've won some good games, and they've lost some really good games. So I think 12 is a good spot. Number 11, we have the Bills, and this is our second lowest division winner. The lowest, of course, is the NFC East, but the Bills are the lowest division winner, being in the AFC East. So the Bills currently are 7-3. They had a bye week this week, and they had an up and down season. And mostly, they can't seem to win games by a large margin. Whether it's a good team or a bad team, they can't seem to win games by more than a few points. And I know that they're winning close games, which is good, but it's hard to trust a team in the playoffs with a young quarterback if all of their games in the regular season are close. Because if they play a veteran, then it's likely that that veteran player is going to outperform them in tight situations. Coming at number 10, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are now 6-4 after losing to the 7-3 Seahawks. They split with the Seahawks, and both teams won their games respectively by less than one score. It was a pretty good game overall, and I think that I can't drop the Cardinals too much, but I was expecting them to win that. I thought that the Cardinals were on the up and up. I thought that they were going good, and Seattle was struggling, but with a Seattle win, I have to keep Seattle above Arizona for this week, and I think that Arizona's a strong team. I think that they're a good team, and I think that number 10 is a perfect spot for them because they're a little unpredictable. They're a consistent team, but they're unpredictable. And at number 9, we have the 6-4 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens just came off of 2 losses. Their only losses this season are to the number 1 Steelers, the number 2 Chiefs, and the Patriots. And now this week, they lost another close game to not a great team. So I have them at number 9, and if they continue to lose, then they'll go down. But I think that the Ravens have a very strong team, especially because of their defense. If you have a solid offense with a good running game and a good defense, then you're a pretty solid team. So I think 9 is a good spot for them right now. At number 8, we have the Seattle Seahawks after winning a game against the Cardinals. It was a very hard-fought game, but Seattle came out with the victory. I think the Seattle would be higher if their defense was better, but their offense is good enough to get them to the number 8 spot, even if they do have one of the worst passing defenses in NFL history. Their defense showed that they could stop the Cardinals on their final drive to win the game, and I guess that proved that their defense can win in tight situations. So they're number 8. At number 7, we have the Tennessee Titans, and at number 6, we have the Indianapolis Colts. These two teams are currently fighting it out for their division. They're both 7-3, and the Colts just beat the Titans 2 weeks ago. They're both very strong teams. I think that the Titans are a more complete team, but the Colts have a very strong defense. I wasn't trusting of their defense at the beginning of the season, but their defense has consistently done well throughout the entirety of the NFL season. And so now I completely trust their defense. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL, if not the best defense in the NFL. They picked off and forced a fumble against Aaron Rodgers, and they beat the Packers this week. And the only reason why I have the Packers above them is because I think that the Packers are a more complete team. I haven't seen a whole lot of Colts games, so forgive me if I'm incorrect. I think that their offense can improve and is improving, and I'm excited to see what they do for the rest of the season. At number 5, we have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are just coming off of 2 losses in the past 3 games. They lost to the Vikings in their own division, and now they're losing to the Colts. They have had a pretty solid season so far. They've had a very strong season, and their only 3 losses are to 3 very good teams. The Vikings, with Dalvin Cook healthy and running, the Colts, who are number 6, and the Buccaneers, who are number 4. I see nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers this season. I think that this is one of his best seasons of his career. Davante Adams is on fire. Their running game is insane, and their defense is above average. The Packers are a good team, and they deserve their number 5 position. Bringing us to number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who beat them earlier this year, but have struggled in the past couple of weeks to keep afloat above some of the other teams in the NFC. They're currently in the second position in their own division, even though they have the second best record as well in the NFC. So they're likely going to end up being the 5th seed instead of the 1st or 2nd seed, but they still have a very good team. And their defense is one of the best in the league, and their offense is one of the strongest. This brings us to the NFL's elite. Number 3 are the Saints, and number 2 we have the Chiefs, and at number 1 we have the Steelers. The Saints are a very strong team. They beat very strong teams, and this won a very good game against the Atlanta Falcons without Drew Brees. They won 24-9, and it was a good game overall. The Saints played phenomenally, and I expect them to continue to do well. The Chiefs are number 2. They haven't lost a single game since the Raiders game at the beginning of the season. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions, and they have a very strong team on offense and on defense. And at number 1, we of course have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are undefeated at 10-0, and there's not really much else to be said. They're an undefeated team. They have a perfect record, and their offense and defense are both very strong. Until the Steelers get a demerit, they're going to stay at number 1, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. Thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate all the support. We gained almost 150 subscribers last week, which is insane. I never could have expected this from the channel so early on, and I'm really excited for the future of this channel. I hope you guys enjoy my power rankings, and I hope you guys enjoy my content. Make sure to comment down below what you guys want to see in future videos, and what you think I can improve on, because I've tried to take in your comments as much as I can and try to improve upon anything that I can that you think I can. So let me know what you guys want to see in future videos. Let me know what I can improve on, and let's hit 400 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I really appreciate all the support. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.